From the price of fuel at petrol pumps to electricity bills, food prices, shipping costs, factory production lines, the war in West Asia threatening to ripple through the everyday lives of millions of people around the world. A single maritime choke point has become the center of global anxiety. The Strait of Hormuz has been effectively sealed off by Iran. The narrow waterway is one of the world's most important routes for energy shipments. Shipping and market tracking firms, including Lloyd's, list intelligence and marine traffic, reporting that more than 200 oil tankers and cargo vessels are currently unable to move through the strait. The disruption has immobilized a large portion of the global tanker fleet. Around 60 very large crude carriers are among the vessels unable to transit the strait. It represents roughly 8% of the world's compliant, very large crude carrier fleet. The closure of the strait has had an immediate effect on global energy markets. Brent crude prices have been rising sharply, approaching $90 per barrel. After increasing by around 20% within a few days, insurance companies have also started withdrawing war risk coverage for vessels traveling through the area. A large share of crude oil and liquefied natural gas exported from the Gulf passes through this route every single day. Just to put this simply, when that flow slows or stops, economies far beyond West Asia begin to feel the pressure because around 20% of the world's global oil passes through this narrow strait. Energy importers across Asia and Europe are already bracing for the consequences. Governments and shipping companies are scrambling to find alternative routes. Major shipping companies are already reacting. Danish shipping giant also cancelling multiple routes in the region as companies reassess the risks and wait for clarity on security conditions. Energy markets are also preparing for the worst-case scenarios. Qatar's energy ministry has warned that a prolonged regional war could destabilize global economies and push oil prices as high as $150 per barrel if energy producers are forced to halt exports within the next 2 to 3 weeks. In fact, interestingly, AI chatbots have also been predicting the way things will stand. Washington, D.C., as per their prediction, could see the highest percentage jump because American fuel prices respond quickly to crude price changes, while London and Tel Aviv remain the most expensive overall due to higher taxes. And New Delhi's increase stays relatively limited because fuel prices are partly controlled by government policy. For countries like India, the ongoing crisis carries immediate energy security implications. India imports more than 85% of its crude oil needs and roughly half of those supplies. In fact, about 2.5 million barrels per day typically passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Liquefied natural gas exports have also been disrupted after missile and drone strikes damaged energy facilities in Qatar, forcing a halt in some production and shipments. India imports nearly half of its LNG from Qatar, which fuels city gas networks that supply compressed natural gas for vehicles and piped gas for homes. Bangladesh and Pakistan rely heavily on LNG shipments from Qatar and the UAE as well, raising the risk of power shortages, factory slowdowns, economic strain if supplies remain constrained. Across Asia, which receives about 82% of Qatar's LNG exports, energy prices are already climbing sharply. Gas prices in parts of Europe and Asia have surged, increasing the risk of inflation and slower industrial growth. So what started out as a geopolitical confrontation is rapidly evolving into a global economic crisis because the longer the Strait of Hormuz and energy sites in West Asia remain disrupted, the more likely it becomes that households, businesses, and entire national economies will begin to feel the consequences in everyday life.